Gwyneth Paltrow named her daughter Apple. The middle name of Kurt Cobain's daughter is Bean. And Beyonce named her daughter Blue Ivy. It seems there's no shortage of strange names out there. If you don't have a unique name, then you probably know people who do. What you might not have known is that there are countries that do not allow specific names. Let's take a look at a few of those quirky gems, shall we? Number 17. Don't say the M-word. In 2013, a judge in Newport, Tennessee, ruled that it is illegal to name your child Messiah. By definition, a Messiah is considered the savior of a group or cause. In the Bible, the Messiah is the deliverer of the Jewish nation, as promised by God. The word seems like it has a positive connotation to it. So what's the problem? The issue came about when a woman, Jaleesa Martin, wanted to name her third child Messiah. The son in this situation happened to be in the middle of a custody battle between his parents. The father argued his child should not have such a name. The judge concluded that Jesus Christ is the only person that should have that name, and ordered the child to be renamed as Martin. Number 16. Not from Mars. Mars colonization is becoming more and more possible with each passing day. One of the most wealthy and intelligent people in the world, Elon Musk, is set on moving humanity to the red planet.
Yet for now, at least, the United Kingdom has made it illegal to name your child Martian, though it's not clear why.
Number 15. Chocolate spread is not a child. There are only 2 reasons to avoid Nutella. 1. You don't like the taste of chocolate. 2. You are allergic to hazelnuts or dairy. Other than that, most people can safely say that they quite enjoy Nutella. One couple in France loved this sweetbread topping so much that they wanted to name their daughter Nutella. They thought doing so would suggest she is as beloved as her namesake. However, a judge said that the name could subject their child to mockery growing up, and indicated that the couple should name their daughter Ella. This case happened in 2015. Over 2 decades earlier, the French court made a similar ruling when a different couple chose to name their kid Fraise, which means strawberry. Number 14. No way in hell. In general, society does not think highly of anything that has to do with Satan, the devil, or Lucifer. Those things bring to mind an evil connotation. In the UK, it's illegal to name your baby Devil. The same goes for Japan, where devil is translated to Akuma. Sato decided to name their child Akuma. It caused so much controversy that it reached the Prime Minister's cabinet. The father argued that he wanted his son to be memorable and have a unique name. Authorities debated the naming of their firstborn son for 2 months before reaching a decision. Higher officials reasoned that the child would most likely be ridiculed for such a name in Japan, and said that the choice of the Satos was an abuse of the right of parents to name a child, and that this could in no way be healthy for their son. Number 12. Heroes not allowed. Even some would consider banning the naming of a child after a villain to be against freedom of speech. It's surprising to know that there are places that prohibit naming your child after heroes. Batman is arguably one of the most famous and revered superheroes of all time. Yet Australian and Mexican law will strike you down if your kid's birth certificate says Batman.
Mexico has also blacklisted names of other characters like Harry Potter, James Bond, and Rambo.
Number 11. Not on any day of the week. TGIF doesn't mean much in Italy. In Italian, Venerdì means Friday. That's what Mara O and her husband, Roberto G., wanted to name their child. But the Cassation Court had other ideas. The judges urged the parents to rename their child Gregorio, referring to the saint's day on which the couple's son was born. The couple defended their choice, saying the celebrities appeared to name their child whatever they wanted. However, the court felt that the name Friday was associated with subservience and inferiority. The court went on to explain that the name brought to mind the novel Robinson Crusoe. In the book, Crusoe's native servant is named Friday. Number 10. The Portuguese list of banned names. In 2011, Pope Benedict XVI declared that parents should not name children after cars, celebrities, and fruit. The Pope instead asked that parents think of words that are in the Christian calendar. Not long after, Portugal came out with an 80-page document of banned names. Amongst those names were Nirvana and Thor. Strangely enough, the list also included more familiar names like Nina and Wilson. More out-of-the-box names like Ovnis, which means UFO in Portuguese, are not allowed either. Number 9. Crossing that bridge. There's a saying that goes, "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it." It means you shouldn't worry about a problem you have until it's up in front of you. Imagine that problem being you in jail for naming your son Bridge. That's the predicament Kirsty Larson found herself in after the birth of her son. At that point, she already had 14 children. Her son Gesher, which is Bridge in Hebrew, is the youngest. In 1995, Larson attempted to register her son's name at the county office, but officials rejected it. The county gave her a choice: change the name and pay a $210 fine, or spend 2 days in jail. She refused and was in jail in 1998. Number 8. Where you at? Many places do not allow you to have a numeral or symbol in your name. China is no different. China argues that names need to be easy for a computer scanner to read when it comes to national identification cards.
When a pair of parents wanted to give their child the @ symbol as a name, China said they couldn't allow non-Chinese symbols to be in a name.
In China, the @ symbol is pronounced Ada, which sounds a lot like the Chinese phrase, love him. Still, the Chinese court did not budge. Number 7. You can't be stinky. In the Malaysian language, Chow Tow means smelly head. It's a funny name in English. If you don't speak Malaysian, you might think that the words Chow Tow sounds cute. Malaysian law does not think it's cute. When a couple wanted to name their kid Chow Tow, authorities quickly shut it down. In response to this case and the number of people applying to change their names, the Malaysian National Registration Department released a list of forbidden names. Number 6. Please stop the nonsense. What would you do if you were looking at an ID card and the name had 2 quotation marks with a period in between? Unless you are well versed in the way messages work on the telegraph, you might be at a loss of what to call this person. One New Zealand couple decided to name their child Full Stop, with the quotations and period as the way to spell the name. Full Stop ended up on the 2013 list of New Zealand's banned baby names. The list includes 77 names, such as For Real, V8, and Justice. For the most ridiculous one from New Zealand yet, keep watching. Number 5. A poisonous child.
Some people might think it's hardcore or cool to name a child something like Venom or Toxic, but that stuff sort of doesn't fly in the UK.
Compared to Portugal or New Zealand, the UK doesn't have that many strict rules against names. However, when one mother from Wales attempted to name her daughter Cyanide, authorities intervened. On the mother's end, she explained she thought the word cyanide sounded pretty. It should also be noted that the daughter's twin, a boy, was named Preacher, which the courts also did not like. They ordered the mother to rename both children because they concluded neither name were in the son or daughter's best interests. Number 4. Take that H away. In Western nations, most women whose names are Sarah spell it with an H. Morocco says if you must name your child Sarah, you must omit the H. Why? When naming a baby, the law states parents must choose from a list of acceptable names. All of these names uphold a Moroccan identity. To officials, spelling Sarah with an H is banned because it is considered the Hebrew version of that name. Sarah ending with an A is totally fine though, because that is the Arabic version. Number 3. Are you a robot? Sweden also has strict naming laws, so when these next parents registered their baby, it became a huge issue. In 1996, a Swedish couple thought it would be unique to name their son BRFXX CCXX MNP CCCC LLL MMNPRX VCL MNCK SSQ LBB 11116. That's a whopping 43-character name, and it looks like they picked it by picking up random letters and numbers off the floor. The couple then said you pronounce this as Albin, a fairly common name in Scandinavia. Swedish law enforcement said no dice to that choice. Discouraged but not yet defeated, the couple then said the son's name would be A, which would also be pronounced Alden. How did Sweden respond? They basically said, try again. In another instance, a different Swedish couple tried to name their child Metallica, which also was rejected. Number 2. Align with the alphabet. Names are different in Iceland than in many other countries. First of all, some people do not use family names or last names. Instead, your second name is your father's and sometimes mother's first name, followed by the Icelandic terms for son or daughter. Second of all, Iceland has its own set of letters. If a name cannot be conjugated in Icelandic, then guess what? You cannot have that name. A couple that wanted to name their daughter Harriet was prohibited from doing so because it cannot be conjugated. They also had a son whose name was Duncan, but that was not allowed either because there is no C in the Icelandic alphabet.
When gaining passports for their children, the parents had to list their children's names as boy and girl.
Before we reveal number 1, we have a question to ask. If the law did not stop you, what is the weirdest name that you would name your child? If you have kids already, did you call them something common or out of the ordinary? Let us know in the comments below. Number 1. The New Zealand naming epidemic. We mentioned earlier that New Zealand released a list of 77 banned names. It seems naming children strange things was getting too commonplace for the court's liking. In 2008, 2 New Zealand parents landed in hot water with the law for calling their child Tallulah Does the Hula from Hawaii. Their daughter became a ward of the court following the ruling of a judge that said such a name was child abuse. For years, the little girl told everyone her name was Kay because she was scared of being teased by classmates. That year, the judge over the Tallulah case gave examples of other names that were brought to his attention and subsequently banned, such as Number 16 Bus Shelter and Midnight Chardonnay. So what precisely are New Zealand's naming rules? For one, the names cannot refer to a title or rank, like king. The name must also not have a number.
The rule was in response to an alarming number of parents who were naming their children second and third because they couldn't think of anything else.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. For more videos like this, subscribe to our channel and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss an upload.